All right, guys, pay attention. I am now going to show you again how to set up a MONGO Atlas account. It was in my other email, but that was like a 1 hour email with a lot of theory and so on. I'm not going to talk about why things are happening. We're just going to get right down to it so we can follow it along. And also, this is my backup plan because in case in class I am not able to get an account going for whatever reason, it says you made too many attempts or whatever, I'm just going to show you this video and you can create the account on your own and I can sit with people individually as necessary. So I've made a little throwaway email to use here because I burned up all of my other emails. So let's get going. Where do we start? Well, we go to the MongoDB Atlas. So mongodb.com. Try for free. You don't need to do what I'm doing because you're already going to use your own personal or college account. I recommend using your personal account because when you graduate, your school email goes away and you may desire to continue to have access to this. So, anyway, just go and do that. So, now we are creating an account on Atlas. Within that account, we can set up clusters and databases. I mean, you're probably just going to have one cluster and one database, but maybe for your project, you want to make several or something. See what the options on that are later. So, create. Now it's probably going to direct me to confirm. Yeah, so I have to go now and confirm. And email is successful. Good. I'm not going to bother with multi-factor. It's a good idea if you're at work with serious important data. All right, now guys, please pay attention. And ladies, these questions make zero difference, right? That's just for their internal record keeping. So let's put something here. We're going to be working with Node, of course. Data, I don't know, whatever I can find or buy. Now, vector embeddings, by the way, I think I mentioned in the other video, one of the big reasons why JSON and big data is quite important these days is it's the basis of AI, right? The AI, ChatGPT, and so on. JSON is the basis of the conversational memory. So that's a vector embedding, in fact. So that's that. And I guess we're done here now, are we? How do I carry on? And finish. Pretty cool. Now look, this is what you need to do. And I'd love it if you did it before class, or we'll start at beginning of class. So we're going to go to the free version here. And cluster 0, right? I mean, if you were at work, you'd probably give it a more meaningful name, but just stick with this. Stick with the defaults, right? That's good enough. Amazon Web Services is our back-end cloud hosting provider, region, whatever, they have them all over the place. And that's pretty good. Now we're going to create deployment. What's that? That is your cluster, and the next step we need is to get our connection string for our Mongoose code. So create deployment. Any questions, just ask me in class or ping me on Slack. So click. There's my username, and there's my password. Please save this because if you lose it, it's going to be a big problem to get it again, and you're going to need that. So I will copy, and I'll paste it somewhere. I'll email it to yourself, whatever works. And that is my username. So just save it. So MongoDB info. Now look, this is our cluster information. Actually, I don't even think we're going to be using this. We're going to be using a connection string into a specific database, which we're going to show you next. But keep this anyway. So bear in mind, this is for my Mongo. So I have my account information, right? And I have and that's just basically was with my email and so on. And I have my cluster information now because I made a cluster here, cluster 0. Next, I'm going to make a database user. That's what I need for my code. Now look, next step is create database user. Choose a connection method. Look, we're going to be, actually there's a bunch of cool stuff here we'll see later. I'd invite you to go and play with it by yourself. We're not going to get to it tonight, but tomorrow night we will. But what we want to do initially is Compass. Compass is a tool which you have to download and install, and it lets us experiment with JSON documents, and then we're going to next move on to Mongoose. But once you get the connection string, that's all you need anyway. So, yeah, that's good enough. Choose you can go back to this panel later on anyway. So your cluster is being created. Yeah, good enough. All right. Now get connection string. See cluster 0. Get connection string. Look. And that is your, when you go to Visual Studio Code, when you're making a Node.js project, that's one of the imports we need to do, but we'll come to that later. What we want right now is this. This is very important, and you need to have your password as well. What's your password? Well, hang on. Now I've copied that, so I'm going to save this. And I'm going to get my password, so I'm going to go down to access your database users. And I'm going to edit. And my password. Actually, I think you can you make it? No, I don't think you can make it as simple as password. They're going to not accept that. So my password, I'll just make it to be, I usually go by movies, right? Because that's an easy thing to remember. The James Bond movie, in my case, From Russia with Love. And I guess it wants some complexity, so I'll put exclamation mark 0. That should be good enough. So that's my database user password. That is different from my account password. See, there's cluster 0. Now, the rest of this is IP addressing information to get you into their server. Just leave it. You don't need to do anything with that. But that's going to be the connection string, which I will put in Mongoose. All right. Now, let's actually go and test that. Hang on. First of all, I don't think I finished this. First of all, I didn't paste it in here yet. Oh, it contains a special character, which is URL encoded. Now, that's messed up. So get rid of your special characters. Just have alphanumeric. There's reasons why I'll show you later. URL encoding is, especially when you work with a web application, it's gonna cause problems. So let's just try it like so. So that is my password. And I don't think I have to do it. Just accept all of those as defaults. Go ahead and click Update User. Now let's test if this is working, right? Let's test. So my user ID is this. That's my user's name. And that's my user's password. So let's take this string. See, there's the name right there, Mongo developer account and password. So let's grab that. And let's test it using Compass. So add a new connection now. And save and connect. Connecting. Good. Bonus. Good. Now you see up here, now I'm connected to my server up there on MongoDB Atlas. Admin and config, those are special databases. Leave them. Don't mess around with them. MongoDB Atlas uses them for its own internal management, just like sysinfo is used by Microsoft SQL Server. So we're going to be, well, actually, they gave us a little sample of some database here, like Netflix or something. So anyway, once you get this far, we'll take the rest of it in class. And if anybody is having problems with this, we'll address it in class. But once you can get to here, once you can get that connection string and put it in there in a compass, then you're going to be all good. I'm going to wrap up the video now. Don't want it to be too long. Once again, you're not going to have most of the challenges I had because I just had trouble finding a valid email. But you just go ahead and use your personal email or your school email if you're more comfortable. See you in class.